Good evening, ladies, men, and monsters, to the Excellency Mid-League Week 2. Tonight, we've got two banger of sets featuring Omega Gaming Unleashed versus Divine Ascension Ruby for our first two games, followed by AoE God Squad versus the Meme City Esports Rush. We're gonna hop into our pre-show, starting with our power rankings. So, starting with Idea PC. Wait, that's not Idea. That's Zephyr. Wait, what? This emergency meeting. What's happening?
Wait a minute.
What's going on?
It might look a little sus, but don't worry about it. Idea PC is gone for now. Just I'm a happy boy that's joining y'all for a lovely pre-show is what it seems like to be. Nice to be on Mid-League. Happy to see all of you, but I guess I'm really confused in terms of what am I looking at here?
Well, right here we have got our what would we call it? Sus ratings of the teams. So it's kind of like power rankings, but it's not. So I didn't lie to you.
Okay, but what is sus meaning? Okay.
So we have taken all of our teams here, and we have rated all of them from 1 to 10, depending on how sus they are. Sus being on if they deserve to be where they are right now. So, for example, I'm going to take Glaive Esports, to which most of us voted pretty low because we expected
Us did.
them.
Some of us voted.
Some of us. I don't know. Anyways, so some of us have voted Glaive Esports to be low sus because they deserve to be where they are. We all expected them to do well so far, and they have absolutely stomped with a 4-0 in week 1. So that's not surprising. But we're gonna have to see how all of these teams go and what we think about all of these teams. So
All right.
we're gonna hop right into Glaive Esports Rose. What did you vote for them, Gungeon? How sus do you think they are?
I feel like I'm being called out, but Glaive Esports kind of sus, not gonna lie. So I was going through all of the teams and looking through all the statings, and for me, again, Glaive Esports, City Esports, I still consider is probably a top 3 team in the league, top 4. But they did play against 2 genuinely bad teams. No, sorry.
Wow, that's toxic. Okay.
Team. Played against okay teams. And especially in the games that they were playing, there was one game where they the enemy team completely outdrafted themselves, running a Malphite mid lane full AP, which, it is a high priority pick, but it's not too high. Second game, again, one of my key phrases I'm going to be repeating all week. They picked Olaf, and the enemy team didn't ban it. And what happens when you pick Mr. Olaf? You win the game usually. So they picked Mr. Olaf, and Mr. Olaf gave them a free win. I do have to say, I think the AD for Glaive City Esports is absolutely demolishing on Lucian, and the bot lane especially is playing really well. But they did play against teams trying out the new Moonstaff build and against some of our lower end teams. So I say they're about a mid-level sus. I'd give them a 5.
Okay. Well, I completely disagree. But Mac, what do you think? Do you disagree as well?
I was kind of on the same field as Gungeon. We were dancing around a little bit, thinking about Glaive. Didn't really have a tough week 1 to start off. They really had an easy week 1, but I thought, am I suspicious that they're at 4-0? Am I a little sussed out? Well, I am a little bit. After that week 1, I still think confidently, like Gungeon said, that this is a top team. Sightstone, the support deserving of that name, 9 KDA so far through the opening week. And the jungler, Mick Schumitz, absolute beast mode, 11 KDA coming out of the gate. Really excited to see Glaive Esports, even with new faces on the roster, we're still able to put on classic Glaive performances, dominating in quick fashion. And so I gave them a 3. I'm a little interested to see how they face off against some of the better teams in the league, but I'm not doubting them for a little bit just yet.
Okay.
And as you can tell, I was very sus. I chose to ignore the whole series, and maybe you'll see some continuity with that regarding the other 9 teams, but they're all sus to me, I guess. Or maybe they're all not sus. I don't know which direction I'm going. I'll tell you later. I'll let you know later.
I'm just here to have a good time, man. Well,
I am.
For me personally, I voted 0. Glaive is not sus at all. I am completely unsurprised by their performance so far, and I feel like a lot of people who are watching are the same way as well. They were the champions of the set 1, series 1 of Excellency Mid League.
Yeah.
And they absolutely crushed it. So I'm not surprised in the slightest that they are going to take a 4-0 in this first week. So, with that being said, we are going to hop over to our next team, which is Meme City Esports Rush. Gungeon, do you want to start us off again?
Yes, Meme City Esports, I give them a 1. They are as least sus as possible, but they're not a 0. They absolutely, again, they had a really close game versus Omega Gaming Unleashed, who I think is a really good team in the league. I think I think Omega Gaming Unleashed is probably in that top echelon, probably below the Meme City Esports and the AoE God Squad tier, but I would say they're right below that tier. And they had a pretty close game, but again, Meme City Esports' jungler is absolutely jungle diffing a lot of junglers in this league. He is smurfing on the Lilia. It is just absurd the amount of damage he's outputting, and a lot of times it feels like Meme City can honestly build an entire comp just focused around getting the jungler ahead and letting him just run through. I do have to say, and this is a team that I know I'm super big on, Epic Fail Guy 445 is my hero, my AD carry idol. They had a very close game against Legendary Wolves. It was an absolutely banger of a game. I actually went through, kind of watched a little bit of it because I was able to find like a VOD. But it was a super close game until an Elder fight. Meme City Esports actually threw a 6,000k gold lead in that game until the Elder fight, and then they were able to stomp. So again, their late game shot calling is amazing. Their jungler is playing super well, but they do have a couple close games against teams that you wouldn't think should be top tier, like Legendary Wolves. So for me, I'm giving them a 1. Obviously, they're our top 2 tier for me right now, but they're solid.
Okay. What do you think, Mac?
Yeah, Gungeon, I don't know if we've got a little hive mind between us color casters here in the mid league, but that was kind of my assessment from Meme City Esports too. I gave them a 4 sus rating because they finished off the week 4-0 at the top of the standings with Glaive Esports, and so those close wins did make me a little bit sus for how they were able to finish 4-0. Still a really solid week. I'm excited to see how they continue to perform. We're going to see them on stream later tonight against one of the better teams, one of the predicted top teams, AoE God Squad. That's going to be a really exciting match. And I think, especially after seeing how Meme City managed Divine Ascension Ruby on the scouting grounds, the testing grounds here on Excellence C, the Tuesday before mid league started up, it was a slaughter fest. I'm super high on these guys as well, and I'm really looking forward to see if they can continue their strong week 1 start.
Super high on them, but gives them a 4. That's that's the plus part of this entire statement right there.
Yeah, definitely. So for me personally, once again, I gave them a 0. Close games or not, that's still a 4-0. They're crushing it. So I'm really proud of their performance so far, and I really expect them to go far, you know?
Wow,
definitely
Cowboy, you are
top.
such a proud dad. And I can tell you what, I know a little bit about Meme City Esports Rush because I don't know, my PayPal account is looking fat after last season, but these guys are the best. If I had to tell you who's going to win mid league, it's definitely Meme City Esports Rush. Okay, go ahead. I got my ad. I mean, not what.
Your ad?
Check your account, Zephyr. Check your account.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Move on. Something about Dark Side or something now?
Yeah, something about that. Anyways, our next team up is going to be the Dark Side. So, Gungeon, once again, do you want to show us what you got?
Dark Side, I gave them a 1. Again, I think that they're probably a top upper tier team, probably a top 5 team, but they did play against One Brain Boys, and I looked I didn't even have to go deep because I was going through those match histories and they were absolutely smashing One Brain Boys. Like it was like a 41 kill to 11 kill game 1.
Mhm.
Like I don't there's not much like the competition that they've faced is probably not like tough enough for me to really give them a good rating, but I do think they looked pretty well in their game versus One Brain Boys. But I would give them again. They're going to be a top 5 team, but right now, sus level 1, they're probably exactly what they deserve.
Okay. And I see a pretty moderately sized number there, Mac. So what's up with the 5?
It's a pretty fat 5. It's not because I wanted to get a Big Mac with my rating. Darkside are a really interesting team for me. Darkside kind of their sister roster in the heavy league, wanting to find success here in the mid league as well. Zephyr probably knows a little bit about those guys up there from last season. So far, no.
Well, I guess not.
Nevertheless, Darkside has some really fantastic solo laners. Coach and Crits, I feel like, are going to be some of the most fun players to watch. In that One Brain Boys series that Gunjin brought up, there was a 19 kill Silas in the top lane, and Crits' Yone, I believe it was, popping off, or was it a Yasuo? I think they played a Yasuo comp on stream last week for us to start things off. They executed that really well. They did go 1-1 to start their series, so that's why I'm a little sus right now. Darkside, I think they've still got some things to figure out, and I think they got themselves a solid starting point with kind of understanding their identity as a team. I'm a little sus though. I gave them my 5 because I wanted to be moderate and somewhat cautious with who I was very unsuspicious of, because it's only week 1, guys. I'm kind of suspicious about everyone.
You know, that's a good way to look at things. Myself, I give Darkside a 2. Their performance hasn't completely shocked me, although I'm not gonna say that they're doing bad, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, man. But I'm very excited to see what Darkside can bring coming up later into this season. And I think so far, they aren't doing too bad, you know?
Yeah, and actually, noticeably, Darkside has already completed their first game of the night here. They actually did it 2 days ago against Legendary Wolves there, and it actually was the first game that Darkside lost, I believe. Legendary Wolves took one over them.
Wow.
They came back and evened it out to the 1-on-1, but that's their first loss of the season. So I don't know how that affects y'all's sus ratings, but it's somewhere in there now.
Mm-hmm.
Epic fail guy. What can I say more? I'm the biggest epic fail guy stan on this entire cast. I'll never let him go.
Yeah. All right. Up next is Defined. Yes, Divine Ascension Ruby. Ooh, that's a big word for me. You know what I'm saying? So, Gunjin, I see as well. You got a pretty big number there. You want to talk about that?
Ruby has a fat 8 on my rating. They are absolutely sus. Again, they faced One Brain Boys, and again, hard stopped them. Second game, though, incredibly close. If you look at it, they actually gave One Brain Boys about a 4K gold lead because of really bad early game dragon fighting against Jarvan. Again, Divine Ascension Ruby was able to pick it up just due to the play of their bot lane. Their bot lane absolutely just demolished the bot lane of One Brain Boys and was really able to carry the lead. But like the fact that they were able to give up such a big gold lead, even to a team that we consider a lower tier team, against the higher tier teams, they're not going to let you get away with that. If you give a 4K gold lead to Meme City Esports, you're going to get blown out that game. That's just how it is. And so giving that big of an early game lead against a team that we consider in our lower echelon of teams, very sus to me. And then again, the Legendary Wolves game that we casted last week, I have to say, I think that the bot lane of Divine Ascension Ruby did not play as well as I hope they did. I think they it was a super close game, even with them having Infernal Soul. Like, think about that. They had an Infernal Soul and they almost lost. Like, they were just like, throw it. They were trying to throw that game as hard as possible. And thankfully, the mid laner for DAR really picked it up. But in that second game, we saw it. Again, drafts are okay, but giving over Mr. Olaf to any team is a big
Oh my
sin
gosh,
in
back to
mid-league.
Olaf.
Big sin. Mr. Olaf should not be allowed into your games, especially in mid-league. And they gave it over and they paid for it because Epic Fail Guy, again, I'm his biggest stan, absolutely smurfed on him.
My
It was
gosh,
a really
Gungeon.
hard stop.
I'm sick of all these Freljordians. Get them out of my mid-league.
Dude,
And for me-
two things inevitable. Ragnarok coming and Gungeon gonna be complaining about Olaf during our rankings. And I think Divine Ascension are hella sus to so sus. I give them a slightly less fat 7. And the reason being, is this a 3-1 team? I found myself questioning that. Tay in the mid lane, though, Gungeon, I'm really glad you brought up his Zoe performance. It was absolutely absurd, the team fights he was pulling off. He's not in the lineup anymore. It's a different look in the mid lane for Divine Ascension, and this has got me mad worried, but also so excited to see how JDK does in his actual role. He's no longer filling in the jungle, and the rest of the league really just needs to watch out for what Divine Ascension's going to be able to do with a real jungler.
Oh,
A real jungler. I didn't know there was fake junglers in this league.
oh, okay, sure. Well, you guys are doing like all the numbers and stuff. You're making me feel really stupid because you're getting like super in depth all the teams and like, oh, it was this game at like 26 and 4 seconds. It's like, yeah, team's okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Divine Ascension Ruby, from what I've seen, I haven't gone in depth in all the games like Gungeon has per se. But what we did see last week was pretty good. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. And I feel like coming again later into this tournament, we're going to be seeing some spicy plays. I think Divine Ascension is honestly going to be a top team. Honestly.
I think they're definitely a top 10 team in the league. I'll give you that one. Top 9. Sorry, my bad. Top 9.
Oh my god, Gungeon.
But
alright, we got
Top
the
super sus.
AOE God Squad. Area of Effect God Squad. Would.
Love these
Ooh,
guys.
Gungeon.
Love them. AOE God Squad, I interviewed these guys. I'm a little bit biased, but who's biased, it doesn't mean anything because my sus level for them is 1. Even though they faced against Anarchy Lime, they were able to pick up Mr. Olaf. They got early dragon control, smurfed. Game 2, the mid laner for AoE God Squad, I think, dropped a 17 kill game on Anarchy Lime's head. He just dropped that on them. He just said, take the 17 kill Akali, and just absolutely ran away with it. And again, in the set number 1, they faced against Omega Gaming Unleashed. I said how I think Omega Gaming Unleashed is a top 4 team. It was a 1-1 split, but both of those games were super close. And again, the big sin that both of these teams commit, and I will say it again and again, one game they took Mr. Olaf, and then one game they gave away Mr. Olaf. And guess which game they lost? The one they took him or lost or gave him away? Just give me a quick guess.
Gungeon, I'm starting to get a pattern here. It seems in the mid league, if somebody gets the funky Viking, it seems that they just win the game. It's like magic, It's like, ooh, Viking, ooh,
magic, ooh, Viking. What is that kind of analysis?
Early dragon control.
Making fun of you.
Ooh, early dragon control. Infernal dragon. No.
All right, Mac. What's
much
up for
like
two?
DGen Exiles? Y'all are gonna end up like ghosts if you keep talking like that.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I'm allowed to threaten all of you. Okay, I get to leave later.
I guess.
No, whatever. Matt, carried away.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zephyr, for the commentary. AoE God Squad, I hit him with a 2 as well. they came out kind of meeting our expectations. So I'm not suspicious of these guys at all. They were able to go even against Omega Gaming, which both of these teams coming in really high on both of these squads coming together as some of the teams that we expect are going to be really testing Glaive Esports this time around and giving us a really interesting and exciting playoff bracket. AoE God Squad, they started off the season just where I really think a lot of people expected them to be. I'm really excited to see how they continue to improve and kind of adapt to the meta. I feel like last week was kind of an awkward point where teams are still kind of figuring out what works best for them. So as the scene continues, and as we move forward through the weeks, AoE God Squad, I think we're going to see them stick around that top side of the standings.
Okay. For me, AoE God Squad, I'm gonna be honest, their first games didn't impress me all that much. Just gonna say it. I not too sure if they belong where they are so far, so I'm gonna throw it with a 4. Call
Okay, but why?
Yes.
You can't just throw things out there. There must be reasoning.
Yes, I can. You get a 4, and you get a 4.
All right, Oprah.
I think the AoE God Squad, they've done pretty okay so far. I do think they could be doing
3
better.
and 1, pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
3 and 1, pretty
No
okay.
big deal.
Not too shabby.
It's not a 4-0, so they ain't got that. They ain't got those 6 points yet. So come see me when you got 6 or more points.
You're such a hard man to please.
I am. I don't. I don't know. I'm thinking of what to say, and now I can't think of anything.
You're reconsidering. I can see it. I understand.
Yeah,
questioning of the gods. Your devotion appears
the simple-minded
to not be as
peasant.
strong.
Yes, that is I.
He's realized he's wrong.
Yeah.
The gods are coming onto the rift later tonight. Set 2.
They are.
Well, we'll see how they. We'll see how they toss up. All right.
Yeah, your points are making me reconsider my 4 right now. So let's just ignore that and slide on over to the One Brain Boys. What do we got, Gunjan?
One Brain Boys. I love these guys. They're my favorite, but I gotta give them a hard 0. They are not sus at all. I think they've showed us exactly what they are in these first 2 games. They played against DAR. They got absolutely smurfed on it, and I don't say that. I don't just throw that around, but I do, because they got stomped. They had complete objective control from DAR, winning lanes in every single lane. The draft felt really bad. The gameplay, especially early on, felt really bad, and it just felt like they had no chance. Game 2, I do have to give them a little bit of credit. They had a very close game, number 2. Again, I mentioned this before when I talked about DAR. They had a really good early game, but they threw it so quickly, and that's my biggest. That's one of the biggest indicators for me about whether I think a team is in the correct place. It's when you get a lead, can you push that lead into a win? Because of the meta right now, it's very snowbally. Once you get your mythics, once you get your first 2 items, you can really snowball a game hard. So if you get a 4K gold lead, that should be sizable enough at 15 minutes to really carry you through the game. But they completely lost that 4K gold lead by 20 minutes, and then they ended up getting absolutely blown out. So One Brain Boys, they are exactly what they are. Sus level of a fat 0.
Wow.
Gunjan,
Rest
you
in
have been
peace.
doing your homework, man.
It's almost like he's a color caster.
Damn, it's almost like he has to know these things. I feel really stupid.
Very true. Very true. It's okay. You'll get used to it, son.
Eventually. I wish.
Well, let's see if Matt can match up in any way, though. I mean, Gunjan sounds like an absolute genius over here, so let's see if Mac even can live up to the name One Brain Boy.
One Brain Boys. Well, these guys kind of showcased their hive mind in the first week. They were committed and they were consistent. Losing 4 games isn't the way any of us want to start the season. I got my faith, though, in Johnny Esports to rally the team, to inspire these guys, and to try to refresh the mentals. Talking with them before the season start, he said it himself, they're a bunch of idiots, that actually do tilt easily. I'm excited to see if they can start week 2 off maybe on a different foot, and that'll help them come back and maybe look to pick up some wins with some spicy compositions they've been putting together. For now they're adjusted to the mid league. I think we might see them expand on their big brain drafts. The one massive brain will get themselves, I think, some surprising wins. I feel like we can't take our eyes off of this team just yet. That's why I hit them with a little sus level of 3. One Brain Boys, Johnny Esports. You're on my radar. Don't try to sneak off. 04 start, sure. You might fool everyone else here on the desk, but I see you guys. I know what's coming.
All
You're
right.
gonna say they were consistent going 0-4, losing every single game.
They're gonna turn it around.
Well,
Johnny's not going anywhere.
Mac, with how you've been saying, I don't know if you're like insulting them or if you're complimenting them. Like you're saying like all these big brain plays. Like with how Gungeon's been talking, all they need to do is get Olaf, and then they'll suddenly just all their brains will combine into one giga brain. Well, I have given the One Brain Boys a 1. They have been 0-4 so far. Their games were okay. Honestly, they definitely have been showing their skill, but as Max said, they do tilt a little bit, and I think they're in it to win it, definitely. But I don't,
Wow.
I just want to know what's gonna happen. Insult me for saying this, but I'm not expecting much. Okay, One Brain Boys, I love you, but I'm not expecting too much. Okay.
It won't take a lot to make Cowboy proud of you, One Brain Boys. Let's start us off with a 1 week, and you'll get Cowboy to be proud of you, and it's only up from there.
See, get a 2-0 tonight, and then suddenly it's just like,
awesome. Congrats.
Awesome. Well, next up, we got the Legendary Wolves.
Legendary Wolves, baby. Epic fail guy 445. You know where it is. Sus level 10. 10. A fat 10 for Legendary Wolves. Legendary Wolves is my sleeper pick. I think that Cowboy called it last week, and I wasn't a believer, but I believe now, Cowboy. I believe you. These guys are the real deal. I think that they will be a dark horse team. Do not sleep on Epic Fail Guy. Do not sleep on their mid laner. They had Again, they didn't have the greatest week 1. They went 1-3, but they had close games versus Meme City Esports, which all of you have declared is the best team in the league. So if you're saying that and having close games against them means something, right? As well, against VAR, they had a fantastic game 2 where they absolutely stopped, and in game 1, the only reason they lost was Infernal Soul and Tay playing out of his mind. And if that didn't happen, I think that Epic Fail Guy 445 carries through. I'm just gonna say what. Legendary Wolves, I am a believer. They are not a sleeper. They pray to Mr. Olaf, and I think they will be rewarded.
They pray to the almighty Viking. Maybe.
It's all it takes to sell Gungeon, all right? Exactly. That's the joke.
Well, Mac, I see that 6. You guys are rating the Legendary Wolves pretty high, so...
Yeah, these guys are pretty sus for me. I gave them a soft 6 here because I absolutely agree with Gungeon with saying I don't think the Legendary Wolves are a team we're going to see at the bottom of the standings for much longer. They have a really nice aggressive playstyle through the jungle with picks like Skarner. I absolutely expect them to steal away some games from some of the teams here in mid-league.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I gotta say, Legendary Wolves, they're like the one team that I know about because of that week 1 pre-show. I know this man here forced me to do some interviews and research on them. So I gave them a solid 2. They are currently 4-4 in the standings, and I gave them a 2, not because I think they should be lower or higher. I think where they are is okay. They are definitely going to be a mid-tier team. And like you said, they definitely like to play through the jungle with the aggressive picks like the Skarner. I really want to see that keep up, and if they do keep that up, they can definitely be a top 4 team in my books. So, second to last team, we have Omega Unleashed. It's spelled wrong in the graphic, so that's
Unleashed.
Yeah, Omega Unleashed.
They they rent it out.
The name is not
Yeah.
paid for as of yet. They still got to make their
It's
payment
not.
this month.
All right, so Gungeon, I see a big
Wow.
number, big
Wait,
big
my-
number. What do we got?
My numbers got swapped. Omega Gaming was an 8, and Legendary Wolves was. It's fine. They're close enough. Omega Gaming Unleashed. I've talked about them when I mentioned Meme City Esports. I talked about them when I mentioned AoE God Squad. I think they're a top 4 team. I think that's super close games versus both of the top 2 teams that I think in the league. I think that their top laner is playing super well as a weak
Yep.
side top laner. I think their
Mhm.
bot laner is playing super well. And again, they make the cardinal sin of giving over Mr. Olaf, and they made the cardinal sin of getting jungle diffed in game 2. So just let's not make those sins. And also, I did see that they tried to run a double Moonstone bot lane.
Oh,
That
Oh
yikes.
God, Arden 2.0. Here we
that's where
go.
I draw the line.
That's a
Yeah.
big that's a big yikes for me because I think Omega Gaming Unleashed 80 carry is really good, and it's
Yeah.
just like putting Reckless on Janna. I don't want to see it anymore. Let's give him back the 80 carries, please. We're
So-
strong right now. I believe it.
Gungeon, before we continue, I just want to ask that one game where they got jungle diffed. Did they happen to pick Olaf? Sorry, Funky
No.
Viking.
No, they actually did not. They did not get
What'd they
Funky Viking. They got Liliad. All of them just went to sleep.
They got Lilia. Oh, they got
They
Deer. They got Bambi.
They got absolute Bambi. Yes.
So, all right, Mac, what do we
Yeah,
got?
we're gonna see Omega Gaming Unleashed in just a little bit here, so I'll let them do most of the talking on the Rift in just a short bit. I do want to say though, I hope anyone in chat thinking that Omega Gaming Unleashed is a 1-3 team, just make sure you don't let Papo Ivar hear you say that about one of his prize teams, because Omega Gaming, I think when it comes to the playoff race, they're absolutely going to be in the discussion.
Okay. So I gave this team a 3. They are currently 1-3. I'm not really surprised by this. Omega Unleashed is a team that I didn't have high expectations for coming into this. I'm going to be honest. Maybe I was a little wrong though. That's why I'm hesitating on like a 2 or lower. But I'm really not expecting them to be a top 4 team. And I think their stats generally revolve around that. Not too impressive, you know? So that's my opinion. And before we
Wow.
continue, I just want to say shout out to my mom. I know you're watching. I love you. I see you in chat. Let's go. So for our last team of the pre-show, we have Anarchy Lime. What do we think about this, guys?
Anarchy Lime is alongside One Brain Boys with that fat sus
Ooh.
of 0. I think that they're. Wow. What? Wait, you guys. What is this?
Yeah,
I stand by my 5.
I stand by Anarchy Lime.
It's lime time, dude. Do not
Lime?
sleep on lime time. Wake up to lime time.
Anarchy Lime Time tried to run a Malphite mid and got 0 forward. And then they had a pretty close game in the second one, but then absolutely got stopped by Glaive City's bot lane, which I'm very afraid of because it was Lucian Alley versus MF Rakan, and it felt absolutely smashing because that game ended in 23 minutes and it was a Dragon Soul as well. So giving up that much bot pressure, especially when bot lane is super strong and with junglers like Olaf being super strong, it's going to be rough for Anarchy Lime. I think that they can come back and maybe try to go for that playoff run, but I'll be surprised if they make it into the playoffs. That's what I'll say.
Okay. I feel like me and Mac are gonna have very similar standings here. So
All right. Being on mid league last season, I'm kind of used to and maybe a little bit numbed to Glaive Esports stomping on teams because they usually make it a habit of stomping everyone. So I generally take those games with a little bit of salt. Anarchy Lime also had to go up against AoE God Squad, 2 teams sitting at the top of the standings. So it's really tough to see how Anarchy Lime's going to play around with the rest of the imposters here on the mid-league spaceship. I think there will be a really interesting and exciting team opting for those kind of spicy picks like the Malphite in the mid lane. So I'm excited to see how Anarchy Lime bounces back after a tough week. And All I know is my man Warrior Guy, he's going to be doing those push-ups every single time before a game. You better believe he's amped up to get out onto the Rift, and I wouldn't throw them into the bottom tier just yet.
For me, just echo everything Mac just said, and you have my opinion as well. I don't think Anarchy Lime is a bad team. They went against the two, what's generally agreed on as the strongest teams in the league, and they got absolutely crushed, which, not that surprising, but I do think this team has a lot of potential, and I think we should shun Gungeon for bringing that average sus score down. Why you gotta give him a 0, man? Come on. Well, I believe that is it for our pre-show, unless Zephyr has anything to add onto any of these teams, as he's been pretty quiet.
I apologize because you guys have thrown me into the tornado of trying to figure out 9 special teams in one sitting, and I honestly, if I could give a quick rundown, Meme City, Glaive Esports, AoE God Squad, those are your top tier boys that are looking to carry it through and through. Legendary Wolves, Omega, Anarchy, Darkside Divine, Ascension, those are your mid tier, and I can only really say for a fact that One Brain Boys is definitely currently at the bottom of the barrel. I love you, Johnny Esports. You definitely got this in the bag. Just make sure in those team fights, keep tossing it. You guys can learn the passing game, that one brain, bam, it's in the initiation, bam, it's over in the jungle or something. I don't know where it needs to be, but that's all y'all gotta learn to do. Bit of a shame on DGen Exiles, but they were definitely the most sus of all these teams, so they had to go. But we do have AoE joining us with a new team that you guys will luckily see. So that's my take. It's short, it's whatever, but I think that's the best I can give you.
Exactly. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming to the pre-show. Thank you to Zephyr for contributing literally nothing, but still being here. We love you, man. You killed Idea, though. So, that might take off a few... Oh, yeah. All right, well, we're going to toss it to an intermission while we set up the first game of the night, which is going to be Omega Unleashed versus Divine Ascension Ruby. So we'll see you guys in a few.